Hey, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's podcast episode. Now, today's podcast episode, I want to talk about the topic of failure and your ability to get over it. Because if there is a sure indicator of how successful you are going to be with your passion business, it's this: getting over failure. Even the word failure, how does that make you feel physically, and what memories does it bring up? Even hearing the word no. Something saying no to you, how does it make you feel about yourself? Now, you can be guaranteed that whatever you're about to do has a good chance of failing. And I know that because I've failed lots of times. I have recorded videos that no one watched. I've written blog posts that no one read. I have created digital products that no one bought. I have wrote fiction books and non-fiction books that just flopped in the Amazon store. And I know how painful it is to have failures. It's not nice to spend an hour or two maybe making a video or writing a blog post for it just to seem like it was a waste of time. And I want you to think about that for a moment. How many times could you come back again and again and again and again being in that situation? Of making video after video after video that's not watched, after writing blog post after blog post after blog post that's not read. How many times could you come back again and again and again before giving up? I remember reading a book one time where someone said that if you try something twice, you are a very rare person, because the majority of people will try something once, and if they can't do it, they just give up. Now, you can be guaranteed that those people were probably trying something they've never done before, and yet they assumed they would get it right on the first go. They didn't even come back for a second attempt. And I want you to think about you. How many times would you come back again and again before you would give up, before you throw in the towel? Have you ever been in a situation where maybe you're a small child who wants to do something and they're just totally frustrated with it? They throw up their hands and say, I can't do it, I'll never be able to do it. And they storm off. Maybe they're trying to ride a bike or maybe tie their shoelace. And then you go after the child and you try and calm them down and you say, try it one more time. You're getting better at it. I know you'll eventually get it. And I was in the same situation you were in at the time, but I did it again and again and again. And now I can do it. And I know you can do it too. So you go back and you sit with the child and you help them with the next couple of attempts, and eventually they can get it and they're successful. And yet, we as adults are great at giving other people advice, of telling them to don't quit, keep going. And yet we are the worst taking our own advice of coming back again and again and again. Because you can be guaranteed that whatever success you're looking for right now, it's going to be on a long chain of failures. You're going to fail, you're going to fail again, you're going to fail again, you're going to fail again, and then you're going to have a success. And you're going to find that even on the other side of that success, you'll probably have another chain of failures before you have another success. But we don't like to hear that. We don't want to have the failures. We just want to jump on to the success. We just want to land in success land where everything is hunky-dory. We didn't make any mistakes and we're brilliant. Now, I think if there is anything that really screwed us up when it comes to the topic of failure, it's school. Because when we went into school, we were little, curious kids in kindergarten who were just full of potential, who loved life, who loved trying things out. And then by the time we get out of the educational system, we were just nervous about making mistakes. We didn't want to goof up, and we saw ourselves in a certain way. And what I'd say to you is, and something that I had to tell myself about those videos and those blog posts and those books that didn't do well, was that stuff wasn't me, that was separate from me. Because in the beginning I took all that stuff on personally, that if that video failed, well then it meant I was a failure. If the blog post failed, again I'm a failure. That book that just flopped in the Amazon Kindle store, well then that's Barry again, he's just a failure. And what I came to learn over time was that those things were separate from me. That video 6 months ago, that the chances were that it failed was because I recorded a video about a topic that no one was interested in. Again, the blog post. I wrote about something that not many people wanted to know about. Not many people were doing that search in Google. So how was that going to do well? Again, the Kindle books that I wrote. Again, I was catering to an audience that wasn't there. Or if I was catering to an audience, there was only a small group of readers. So really, how could I think that book could sell well? So really what I realized was that all those things were separate from me. That it wasn't me that failed. The reason they failed was I just, at the time, maybe didn't have enough knowledge and I thought I was doing the right thing, but they were separate from me. And that's what I want you to realize too, is that your failures are separate from you. Because I could come back the next day and I could possibly make a video about a topic that people want to know about, where I can be guaranteed that people are actually asking that question, and when I put that video on the internet, it takes off and I get loads of viewers. And really, it's the same Barry. It's the same Barry that made the bad video and the good video. So which am I? Am I the failure or am I the success? Now we want to feel like we're the success all the time. We don't want to feel like we're the failures. But really, it's the same Barry that both of those did the bad video and the good video. So really, looking at it that way, objectively, it means that those are separate from me. And I want you to drum that into your head too, is that whatever failures you have are separate from you. And if you do have failures, it's possibly because that whatever you're doing right now, you are creating it with the knowledge you have right now. And maybe the knowledge you have right now mightn't be enough knowledge. Maybe you don't have enough experience. But when you come back maybe 6 months from now and you're still continuing along, you're going to find the content that you're making is a lot better because of the type of person you are in 6 months from now and not the person that you are now. You know, as well too, I think social media as well is another big, mental hurdle we need to get over when it comes to success and failure. Because you could be guaranteed on social media, no one is talking about your failures. No one's talking about what the things are going wrong. When you go on social media, it's just, a highlight reel of someone's life where they got a new job, they got a new car, they've just found the love of their life, they've got beautiful kids, they're going on wonderful holidays, and we see all this kind of highlight reel of all these perfect moments, and we assume that that's the way their life is all the time, that they're kind of going from success to success to success. But really, if you follow that person for the next couple of weeks, you'd probably find that those successes that they are highlighting on social media are probably few and far between, and could be even fake. They could be just making up all that content just to kind of try to impress people online. And we look at those successes and assume that everybody else is having great successes, and here is us having our failures, and we're the only one. But really, again, social media does that. And I think as well too, sometimes, unfortunately, when it comes to us being afraid of failing, is that sometimes some people celebrate failure. Other people sometimes celebrate celebrities having failures, of being an alcoholic or getting divorced. We love all the gossip. We love all the negativity. And again, knowing that that's there, I think sometimes it actually programs our own mind to try and not have failures, that we can't give anybody an opportunity to make fun of us, to point at us and say, you failed, you screwed up, you had it all and you blew it all away. You shouldn't have done that. Again, we don't like to do that. So that's what I want you to think about, because as I said, this is a really important thing you need to get over. Your ability to have failures and bounce back again and again and again. Because whatever you're looking to do, this big dream, this goal, this thing that's off in the distance, if you give up right now, that's it. It's game over. You're not going to have the car, you're not going to have the big house, you're not going to have the financial lifestyle or whatever big dream you're looking to get. So really, the only way that you are actually going to get to that goal that you want to have is by failing. It mightn't feel at the time that you're making progress because you're failing. But you're going to find that when you have a failure, you're going to learn something from that failure that you're going to bring into the second attempt. And the second attempt is going to be better than the first one because of the new knowledge. And even if you have failure on the second attempt, you're going to learn something in that, so that when you go back from the third attempt, you've got even more knowledge. So even though it might look to everyone else that you're failing, you are actually gaining knowledge. You're gaining experience. that every time you're trying, you're getting better and better and better. And because you're getting better and better and better, you're putting the odds in your favour of success coming to you. But to people maybe on the outside who are looking at you and saying, well, all those videos aren't doing well. You know, you're not getting many people on the blog. You've hardly sold any copies of your book. But inside here, you are gaining knowledge from all those failures. And when that knowledge and that experience is added to it, you're going to find it's going to snowball. That's going to bring the success to you. So really, we can't really expect to go from where we are to this instant moment of success. It's not going to happen. It's a fairy tale. It's like a Disney story, like that, you know, the fairy godmother is going to wave a magic wand overhead and then suddenly you're going to go into the ideal lifestyle. Doesn't happen. In the real world, you have to go through the failures to get to the success. So it's not nice having failures. I have failed many times and it does hurt. But you need to distance yourself from your work. Because, as I said, you can be both the success and the failure. But don't tie it so closely to you. And be aware that, you know, those exams in school, those grades that you had, were just a Polaroid moment of you as a child, when maybe you're 13 or 14, where maybe you just didn't study for that exam, where maybe that teacher you had wasn't very good at teaching that subject. And yet we take on those grades through the rest of our lives, believing that we were a C student or, you know, an E student or an F student. But really that was only a Polaroid moment of you when you were maybe 10, 12, 13, 14, and not the adult that you are now. But again, we take those Polaroid moments and assume that that's what we are right now. But that's not. You can be guaranteed the person that you are right now is completely different than the child you were back then. All the knowledge you've gained since then. So stop looking backwards and stop looking at your failures in the past and assuming that that is where you are right now. They're just Polaroid moments of what you were at the time. They have no relevance to you right now. So you're not a failure. And if you do fail, just see it that way. Distance yourself from your work. But if you want success, if you want the big goal, you need to go through these failures because that is the only route to where it is you're looking to go to. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. I hope it's really helped you out. If you have any comments at all, please feel free to leave them below. And as always, have a lovely day and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.